Hello. In this video, we will be reviewing the screening event in NewOrg and the reporting around these events. I've logged onto the system as myself, and you come to the Home tab. As a reminder, if you would like to see who the primary contact for a screening event would be, you can always go to the Files tab where the cheat sheet or the Guidelines for Event Primary Contact document is located. I'm just going to open this up so that we can see for the screening event the child is the primary. What this means is there is no need to add mom or dad. To show the many ways you can create events in NewOrg, I'll do each of these events maybe from a different method. Choose whichever method is best for you. I just want to show you the different options. I'm going to focus on the Rogers family. So I will open up my family, and specifically, we are going to do some screening events on Bobby Rogers. Okay, to begin, the screening event is the 6th event from your screening list. I will choose the event and click New Event. A browser opens. Here is my screening event, and we can see here that the event has attached mom. So the first thing you will do is choose Bobby or child. We have the correct type here. And we might say, let's say that this is Bobby's initial ASQ-3. And the event display field is just a short description to help with the visual aspect of seeing what the event is from the Contacts tab. This event has been a completed event, so I'll go ahead and mark it complete and closed. If the event did not take place on January 15th or the date you're entering, just choose the date that it did take place. The description field is a notes field. And then from here, we can fill out our event information. So I said this was the ASQ-3, so that would be the developmental event under type, ASQ-3 under tool, division, it's always home visiting and prevention initiative. And then if there was concern or if the child or family, if they're interested in follow-up. We will click Save, and the initial save is what creates the event and further opens some of these fields. Similar to other events, we now see that if we were adding anyone, we would have the capability to do so, or if we were entering for another caseworker here, we could change the caseworker. For our purposes, we're going to go down here and see that we can now enter the forms or surveys. To enter an ASQ-3 form, click on Create. Another browser will open. You can choose to make comments for the form. You can choose to backdate it to the actual date, which I recommend. It just follows consistency. Always click the autosave and begin to enter your scores. And you can see that these are all required fields. So if I were to hit finish and save, it won't let me continue. So we're just going to real quick run through. I'm going to pick just whatever's coming up in my auto population here for the sake of time. So we work through the ASQ and then finish and save. Now we have completed our form. When we get to this screen, we know that we can go back into the form. We can choose to print the form. I always like to pull up print every once in a while to show you the different views of the print form. It is kind of handy. So if you were to print out this form, this is what it would look like. You can also choose to display it in rows or columns. But we do know that this screen means that our form is complete, so we can X out of this browser. Sorry about that, I got an extra tab open. X out of this browser and see that we have completed the steps necessary in entering Bobby's developmental screening. So we will save and close this event. For each of the different screenings, there are developmental, social, emotional, medical, vision, and hearing. Each screening is its own event. So we have entered Bobby's developmental. Now let's enter Bobby's social emotional. To enter this one, instead of starting from up here, just to show you some variation, I'm going to start from the Contacts tab, and down here where we see Bobby, I'm going to go over to the right, hover over this calendar, and click Create an Event for this contact. It's important that when you choose to do the event this way, we have the correct contact here, but we need to update the event. So under Type, be sure that you choose your screening event. And here I'm going to put ASQ-SE. I like to include the child's name in case there are multiple children in a family. Let's say it happened on the same date. The event is complete and closed. We know this is the social emotional event. The tool we use is the ASQ-SE. And then if we have any concerns or interest in follow-up. The initial save is going to open up those forms. It's going to save our event, and we can begin to fill in the rest of the pieces. So here we're just going to scroll down and begin our ASQ-SE form. I will adjust my date to match the true event date. Click Autosave and begin to fill out. This is a shorter one, and let's say refer to now. And I'll do Finish and Save. This completes the ASQ social emotional event. If we wanted to check these events from the Contacts tab, you can go to the Events tab and view all the events for this family. If the family has quite a few events and you don't want to scroll through it all, remember your filters here. If you just wanted to see the screening events or an event on a specific day, you can select your filters and whittle it down a little bit. And here I see 2 screenings for Bobby on January 7th, and I can tell that one is a developmental and one is a social emotional. Okay, continuing on with Bobby, I am going to enter his hearing and vision screening. For this one, I'm going to begin at the Events tab. Again, this is just to show how events can be entered several different ways for a contact. I encourage you to choose the way that works best for you. I'm just going to say again, we were on January 7th, and we will click the time. It's going to open up a browser and open up an event. Now, because I haven't started this event from the Contacts tab, you'll see I have no contact entered, and the event type is the default of number 1 or personal encounter. So when doing events in this way, you'll want to be sure that you have the correct spelling of your contact. There's my Bobby Rogers, and I know it's Bobby that's attached to Jane or Mom because of the contact code that we have chosen to use for Mom's profile. I'll pick Screening, and I'll say Hearing, Screening for Bobby in my event display field, and I'll continue as we have and fill in these blanks. Screening type, Hearing, Screening tool, division, and we will hit Save. You will notice that there is not a vision or hearing form in NewOrg. This may be something that comes later, but for now, feel free to use those forms that are on our website. And if you wanted to, you could attach them to this event or just have it in their file. Oh, I meant to hit save and close on that one. Save and close, and that completes our hearing screening. Now, to enter our vision screening, let's do this one from the Home tab. And we're going to do a quick create over here. Again, this is just to show you the variations of how you can create an event. So down here, new event, you would pick your screening event, hit new event. This will open the event. We have no contact, so you'll remember to type in your contact, and we know that the contact will be Bobby. There's Bobby, and we'll say vision screening for Bobby. And we're going to backdate it to January 7th. We know it's completed, closed, vision. And I've noticed that when you do these quick creates, the program or the prevention initiative option is not in the drop-down. Once you hit the initial save, that drop-down will become live. It is simply because we do not have a contact chosen that drop-down isn't there. So I go back, I plug in prevention initiative, and we'll check with NewOrg on that and see if we can't get that to pop up in those instances. Similar to hearing, there is not a form for vision in NewOrg, but you are welcome to use our paper forms. I'm going to open another browser just to remind you where the paper forms lie on our website. Under the BTPA drop-down, Baby Talk Professional Association, and then Program Resources. And here you can see all the versions of our forms. Vision consent and hearing consent. Okay, and so for that one, we're going to hit save and close. Now we've completed a developmental screening, hearing and vision screenings, and a social emotional screening for Bobby. The last one that we have to create will be the medical screening or the health screening. So I'm going to pull up Jane, which is Bobby's mom, choose my event, new event, and from this one, I just have to remember to switch the primary contact over to Bobby. We have the correct type, the correct contact. Bob, we were busy with Bobby on this day. We'll just say we did all of the screenings on that day. What's important about screenings is to remember that when you do multiple screenings, each screening is its own event. And I think wanted to be sure I chose the correct tool. I believe on this one it is the other, but I will double check on that. Concern or interested in follow-up. By clicking the initial save, this will open up the ability to add the health form. And I can do so by clicking the Create button. A browser opens. Autosave. Let's backdate this to the correct date. And then you can fill in your form. So now when we go to look at the Rogers family, okay, we did save our form. Always save and close your event too. It just kind of backs you out of the steps that you've taken. If we were to go to the Rogers family and click on the Events tab, we should now see, I believe, 5 screening events. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on January 7th. And they're all the same event type, but from our name description, we can see exactly what they're for without clicking on the event. And then we can also see over here in this column the screening type. So that view is very helpful. We have entered all of the screening events for Bobby. I wanted to show you a little bit of the reports that are available in NewOrg and built around screening. To open your reports, you'll click on the main reports tab. If you do not see the full list of reporting, click the little plus sign next to clients, and now you can see the list. For our screenings, we have an ASQ-3 scores report, an ASQ-SE2 scores report, and down here we have a screening assess history report. I'll begin with the screening assess history report. Choose your report. The report criteria box will open. You can fill in the criteria box as you wish, and then you'll click on Find or the Excel icon to download it to Excel. I am going to filter by name, and then I'm just going to leave the rest of it open. If we wanted to whittle it down and only see events with the ASQ-3 tool chosen, we would click on that. And to unclick something, you hold Control and then just simply click it again. When we leave everything open, it will find everything. So I can choose to download to Excel or click Find to run my report. So now I am running the report for Bobby Rogers, and it should show me all of the screening events that have been entered for his contact. And here, the reports always come up in a list view. You can toggle the different views across the top there. And here we see Bobby in the different screening events and tools and dates. If we wanted to see a summary of those, you can just see right there. So for the next report, let's look at, let me backtrack a little bit. This screening assess history, this is a good way to check your developmental and ASQ-3 events for a certain date range. So if you said, I want to see the number of ASQ-3s I did in the month of January, you would put January 1st here to January 31st. You wouldn't have a name, and you could click Find. And you could also choose these filters. But those are just some ideas on how to use that reporting. And real quick, I'm just going to click on the ASQ-3 scores report. This will show you those scores that you have filled in on the form. Again, I'm just going to focus on Bobby Rogers. My user ID is tied up to the demonstration agency, so I have quite a few users that show up. Yours will not have that many. It'll just be your coworkers. And here's Bobby Rogers. You can see in this report the form that we filled out. And it will be the same for your ASQ-SE2 scores. So that covers the screening event in NewOrg. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at Nicole, Nichole, @babytalk.org. Thank you.